about sales process. Kind of similar to the sales cycle, but as opposed to the sales cycle being kind of an organic part of your business, it's kind of just the natural progression of things. How long does it take me to get a customer through the process? How much is each customer worth? That's kind of the cyclical nature. The sales process is what you do along the way to take a customer from that lead pool into your customer base. So, anyone know the 4 components of the sales process? 4 basic components. All right? We're going to call them prospecting.
Close the deal.
Oh, man.
That's got to be one of them.
Oh, man. That's everybody's favorite one to talk about, too, right?
Somebody had to know something. Right?
All right. But this presents a problem. So we know we have to go look for prospects, right? We know we have to go look for prospective customers. And we know if we want money, we've got to close the deal.
Education?
What do we do in between?
Education?
Education, it's kind of part of
identify needs.
Qualifying and identifying needs, basically the same thing. I throw this, I call this questioning, interviewing, talking to the customer, having a conversation. And then education becomes a very important part of the next step. Now we've talked to them, we've identified this person has a need for our product. We've talked to them about how specifically we can help them. Now what do we do?
Presentation.
We've got to go now.
The other part of qualifying is the ability to pay.
Well, yeah.
This is very, very common, like in web development. Somebody comes to you and says, "I need a website." You talk to them, and they have no money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a big issue. Now, a lot of the sales training that you go to focuses on what?
Close.
Boom. This is it. You would imagine that out of the entire process, that's the only component, right? Because everyone talks about it. There's this closing technique, and I've heard it. George Washington closes, and Puppy Dog closes, and Ben Franklin. It's like, what? Closing. First of all, hate the word because it signifies an end to something. Okay. Once the deal is made, once the contract is signed, the door is not closed. That's just your beginning of your relationship with your new client, your new customer. So, number one, I hate the word closing. So I'm going to call that converting. This is the conversion. This is where the prospect converts into a customer. They're going to give you money for your product or service. Okay. Second thing, I want to take the focus off of the closing, and I want to write the only closing question you will ever need to know. So, write this down because this is magic. I'm telling you, it's the only closing question you ever need to know. It's the only technique. Make sense to you? One of 2 answers, right? Yes or no. Now, that's a little scary. If that's my only technique, man, I can't pull out the old George Washington close and get them to buy, convince them that they have to buy, that this product's just absolutely right for them. No, you can't. It's the only question you're allowed to ask when it comes time to ask for the sale. Does this make sense to you? Whoa. So, what do you do to make sure that the answer is yes?
I can remember times where somebody was trying to sell something on me and it didn't make sense to me.
So what do you do to make it make sense?
That's the cattle reason.
That's it. But if it doesn't make sense, are they going to get either one out?
Discover Pad.
Yeah. But if it doesn't make sense, you're not getting the money. Hate to tell you that, but you're not getting the money.
You got to make sure that the benefits of what you're offering match their needs based on your questioning.
Call it what you want, but this is the heart of the sales process.
Actually, I think one of the things that I've learned is listening to what they are asking
Yeah.
for. Then
Yeah.
you feel the listening.
Absolutely. And listening comes after questioning. And filling is the presentation. If you mind your P's and Q's, just like your mom
Yeah.
always told you, closing becomes a non-issue. It's just a natural progression. Tom Hopkins says, if you've done the first 3 steps correctly, and I'm going to say if you do the middle 2 steps correctly, the 4th step just happens. It's a natural progression because you've gone from trying to sell something to somebody who doesn't necessarily want to buy it from you to helping a person to buy something that they need or want. That's powerful. So how do you do that? How do you get a person to tell you what they need or want and then design a presentation around that that's going to make sense? How do you do it?